is for Mr. Sterling's ownership interest in the Clippers, I will urge the Board of Governors to force a sale.
Wait. What did he say? He's going to make Donald sell? Go back. Go back.
I can't go back. It's live.
How can this be legal? You can't make someone sell something they own.
Whatever they can do to know, you're 50% owner of the team. And you did nothing wrong.
Hi, I'm Ramona Shelburne, and you're listening to Let's Talk Clipped. Today, we're talking about the 5th episode of Clipped, The Best Words. In episode 5, follow-up from the Sterling tapes continues. Doc Rivers and Chris Paul consider boycotting Game 5 until Commissioner Adam Silver bans Donald Sterling from the NBA for life and forces him to sell the team. Meanwhile, B does an interview with Barbara Walters, and Shelly fights to save her stake in the Clippers. Our guests today are Jacki Weaver, who plays Shelly Sterling, and Ed O'Neill, who plays Donald Sterling. Jacki, Ed, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ramona. Good to see you.
Do you know your line still?
Oh, God, no.
I didn't know them then when we shot it.
Well, you guys are getting along way too well for an old married couple, right?
Oh, we got along great. We really did. I mean, for me, I knew her work from, the stuff that she did before. I was like thrilled.
And I adore him. To know him is to adore him.
Did you know each other before you were both cast in these roles?
No, I just knew of her. That's all. I knew of her work. Yeah. I call her the Meryl Streep of Australia.
Get out. Thank you.
All right, let's start with Ed. When you first were approached with this project, who came to you and said, how would you feel about playing Donald Sterling?
Nobody. They just sent me the script. I have fairly new agents, and so they just said this project and who wrote it, Gina Welsh. And so that piqued my interest,
And when you read the script and you thought about playing this guy, what was your reaction to the idea of transforming into a guy who's embroiled in a scandal and had a bit of a louse-like behavior?
Well, at first I thought, why would they want me to do this? I can't imagine me doing this role. And then I just said, I'll just try it. I read it another time and I thought, I think I can do something here and there. It's weird. There's no set way. It just somehow then I was having lunch with Gina and I was on my way over in the car and I was making up my speech of why I'm not doing it. And then halfway through the lunch, she was so charming, and I sort of fell in love with her in a way. And I near the end of the lunch, I said, yeah, I'll do it. And she said, oh, I thought you were doing it. Oh, well, yeah. We'll have fun. I'll do it.
This is quite a challenging role. You talked about in this article that you did with the LA Times about wanting to challenge yourself as an actor, that you've had a long career playing Al Bundy or Modern Family. But this is a role that you could really sink your teeth into.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think really, if I were being honest, I thought, for years I've played so many comedy roles and I was sort of identified with certain roles. I started out in the theater and I did a lot of different kinds of roles in New York for a long time. And I just thought, let me do something and maybe they'll think, wow, where'd that come from? So I thought, well, let me do something that's might turn a different light on.
Jacki, so the same question to you. When did this project come across your desk? And what did you think of the role of Shelly Sterling when it was first presented to you?
Well, I can't tell you exactly when. I think it was at least 2 years ago. I knew about the case. I'm a news junkie. I read about 8 newspapers a day. And so I knew a lot about the case. And I thought as soon as I heard it would be interesting. And then, like Ed, I met Gina Welsh and fell in love with her. And I just thought I would, walk to Timbuktu for this woman. She could be my daughter. I think she's brilliant. The first reading of the script, I just thought the dialogue was fantastic. And I want to make a point here. I find that playing real people can be fraught with hazard. And that's why I keep saying this is not a documentary. It's not a documentary. It's a piece of fiction based on actual events. I've played real people before in Australia, and they never like it. I've even lost a friend over it. I had her mother-in-law come up to me in the supermarket and say, "Why did you have to make her so ugly?" So I'm very cautious about playing real people, and I accept that the real people involved in this will probably not like it.
What was the process like for you guys physically turning into your characters? I know, Ed, you had to get a hairpiece made, right? And a spray tan, all that other
Yeah.
stuff. What was that physical transformation like for both of you?
It wasn't too hard. I mean, the makeup people and hair people are so good. You just sit there. I barely look. I mean, at the end, I look and said, "Oh, that looks great." So that's about it.
Did you have fun with the spray tan?
Yes and no. My skin, probably because I'm older, didn't take to the spray tan too well. Towards the end, I started to get some sort of reaction to it because it was a whole body tan. But it really only affected my face and my eyes. So for a while, that was a little annoying. But thankfully, it was right at the end of that.
So it was a full body spray tan because a couple of scenes in this show, you had to bear it all. And we got to see the full extent of that spray tan. How were those scenes?
Well, at this point in my life, it doesn't matter what I do. I mean, nobody's looking at me in any sort of lascivious way. It's just
I
some
don't
old...
know about that.
I don't think so, Shelly. Thank you. I just laid there, like a beached whale or something. It's just, I thought it's kind of amusing. I mean, it's a long way from when I was a lifeguard when I was 16. So you just get used to it.
Do you realize you called her Shelly?
Oh my God, I call her Shelly. Yeah, Jacki, of course.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I do call her Shelly sometimes to other people.
So, Jacki, I think, Ed slipped by calling you Shelly there, which is a testament to how well you transformed into Shelly Sterling. What was the process like for you to get the hair and makeup right, the clothing right, and also the voice?
You're a son to him. Look at the life you have because of Donald. Look at the size of your office. It's not the corner office, but it's in a corner.
Well, we had a brilliant hair and makeup team. I mean, they are absolutely brilliant. I was wearing a fantastic wig that looked exactly like Shelly's hair. The makeup was equally good, and so was wardrobe. I thought they did a great job of reproducing the look. So like Ed said, I hardly had to do anything with regards to appearance. I listened to your podcast on my phone and other recordings of Shelly talking, and I just kept repeating and repeating things that she'd said. And in my trailer, every morning before I went on set, I would listen to her speaking and go over and over it. I'm a bit husky today, but normally I have a very light, high voice. Shelly has more of a chest voice and a little husky. And so sometimes if I wasn't sounding husky enough, I'd drink some half and half.
Just straight half and half. That's awesome. So by the time we reach episode 5, Shelly is fed up with Donald's antics, and she's hesitant to say anything negative about him in public. For better or for worse, they've been through a lot together. How would you describe the dynamic between Shelly and Donald Sterling?
I think she's furious with him. I mean, in our story, I can't talk for the real Shelly and Donald. But rightly so. I had no problem with being furious with his character because he humiliates her and he does it with this terrible gold-digging girl. There's humiliation piled onto humiliation. And so it wasn't difficult to imagine being furious with him. And also in the eyes of others, in the eyes of her friends, and she just got sick of being made a fool of, I think. And it was pretty easy to be able to announce that she was going to file for divorce.
Yeah, I knew they were childhood sweethearts. She worked and put him through law school. And they changed their name together. They picked Sterling together to assimilate. And all those kinds of decisions, Young told me that they were very close for many, many years.
Yeah, I don't think the story would have been as good if we hadn't shown some affection for each other. I think there was bound to be affection there for it to she can't let go, really, even though she tries to look strong and say she's going to get rid of him. She still loves him, I think.
You know, my mom used to tell me that you never know what's inside somebody else's marriage.
Yes.
And I think that is like, you see two people together and you go, how the hell did they ever get together in the first place? But especially after 60 years, you really don't remember.
And what people will put up with, at the end of the day, sometimes it's just maybe easier just to stay, and then.
Yeah. The heart has its reasons that reason does not know.
That's right.
Who said that? I just did.
That was great. I didn't want to step on your line.
That's a good one. That's good. Yeah, that says it. That says it.
In episode 5, one of the key scenes is when the TV shows have been sending women outside of Donald's door trying to get him to agree to an interview.
Talk shows, Larry King, the old Birds On in the Morning. They send girls to book people too stupid to see them coming.
You don't want to be interviewed? Tell your side of the story.
Not everyone who wants to look inside my ass has your good intentions.
Okay.
Why don't you find a way to contribute to society, you bloodsuckers in training? Learn a trade!
But Donald obviously holds out for most of this episode. He doesn't think he needs to talk, or he's not sure what he has to say. What, in your mind, Ed, was Donald's media strategy for most of this episode?
I think he was trying to figure it out. And I think he was trying to wait to see which way the wind was blowing. Because as he says earlier in one of the scenes with Jacki, people forget. And people throw their newspapers away. And I think he was hoping, really against hope, that it would go away. It was naive, but I think he thought, the longer I hold out and stay out of sight, it'll go away.
I think covering it in real time, I think you're exactly right. He was kind of alone, but I think he was, as you say, I think he was, just thought it would go away, right? Didn't realize how big it was.
Well, the fact, too, that he was a lawyer himself. And I think his ego was that he knew more than they did, and that he knew more about the situation. And I just think that his ego showed a little bit there. The fact that everybody turned on him at that point, and I think he just realized it was over.
In this episode, Jacki, there is a scene with you and Andy Roser where you're trying to help Donald with his image. You're trying to get Andy to plant a story. You're trying to still fight the fight for Donald, even though he's not really responding.
I did something.
You did nothing.
I took it to Donald, and he told me to do nothing.
Well, I'm asking you to do something now. This team is his lifeblood. What will he live for? He'll die.
What was that scene with Kelly like, where you were talking to Andy and trying to get him to plant the stories of just stand up for Donald? He's
a brilliant actor, Kelly. I loved him. He's one of those actors incapable of an inauthentic moment. He was great to play with.
Yeah. I loved working with him. Before we go any further with that, I have to compliment everyone in the show. I mean, there's nobody. I was blown away, and to start with, for the players, I just think the players were so good. I thought it was just wonderful how good they were.
Wasn't the choreography fascinating of the basketball shots?
Oh, yeah.
They would do the same plays over and over and again for different camera angles. It was it was like ballet.
Yeah, and of course Lawrence, but I hesitate. You don't need to even mention Lawrence, really, but we should. He was so great. So, he said a very funny thing to me. I know Lawrence from before. I know Lawrence from New York City. And he said to me, I feel a little insecure about the role. And I said, why? And he said, well, I never played basketball. As a kid, I was acting at 14. I was doing movies in the Philippines when I was 14, and I never played basketball. I said, so because of that, you feel insecure? He said, yeah, I just, I don't have that experience. I said, well, I've seen you in a lot of movies where you're killing people. Did you ever kill anybody, Lawrence? And he started laughing. He said, no, I never thought of that. And I don't think that helped him any. I just think he felt it was amusing.
Well, I mean, Morpheus in the Matrix, right? You don't think
Yeah.
anybody's ever had the background there.
Yeah.
I remember when I met him, he was very disarming. He actually was one of the actors who kind of wanted some notes, like from the real guy. Like we did a press conference. That was my cameo, my big exciting cameo. And he goes, "What's Doc like at a press conference?" I go, "Doc is like a college football coach who learns your name and runs the room. And afterwards, he's so charming. And he runs the press conference. The press conference doesn't run him, right?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, yeah, thank you." And then he just nailed it, like one take. I'm like, you don't need to know basketball. Like, you already know how to run that, Well, Jacki, I think that scene with Kelly as Andy is one of the pivotal scenes for Shelly's character because it marks the break where she stops defending Donald and starts sticking up for herself. You probably have some thoughts about why she stopped defending him and why she made that switch. But I was curious what you were thinking in those scenes and at that point in the story of where Shelly's head was.
Yeah, I think it was an accumulation. It was cumulative effect that she got sick of being humiliated with his dalliances and also the money situation. She was worried maybe by then that it was all going to tank, the owning a team, and she's very canny financially and probably thought it was time to arm herself, I think.
Donald has his own convincing in this episode when he confronts V before her interview with Barbara Walters. And it goes a little haywire, right? He tries to convince her to say she made it all up or this wasn't her, she doctored the tape.
You were trying to make a point. You used some special software.
But I didn't.
It doesn't matter. I know you didn't want to make it go this far. You didn't want to ruin my life, did you, honey? Get me banned?
No, I just want you to realize that the way you grew up is wrong. That people of all
No,
colors...
don't start with that. I'm trying to do something for you, okay? If you say you made it up, when Shelly gets her settlement from her court case, I'll take care of it.
There's a desperation in that scene that I know it took a couple shots to get this right, but how did you finally get there to where you captured how desperate Donald was before that interview?
Well, Gina helped me a great deal in that scene. She said, you really need to be frantic because everything is collapsing now. Magic Johnson's bailed out on you and so forth, and you know that you need some help. And I think he probably had a few drinks because he's very disheveled, he hadn't shaved. And so, yeah, he was frantic. I mean, I think he was desperate in that scene. And that's how I tried to play it.
Gina had told me that at one point they kept opening the buttons on your shirt to make you seem kind of disheveled. Yeah. But at one point she said to you, maybe he's out of breath.
Yes. It's the slightest little nudge one way or the other that makes a lot of difference. And that was one of those times for me. I said, out of breath. With the gout, he had the gout, walking down those hallways with the gout, in a hurry, in pain, and out of breath. I thought, well, that'll get me into the scene. And then it went from there.
So Jacki's drinking half and half, and you're running up and down hallways. I like it.
That's how it works,
One of the fun little details from this is where V's with her lawyer, Mac Nehare, in the show, and they get into a fight. You're trying to convince her to lie for you, to change her story. And he tries to step in as her lawyer and shut you down. And you throw a salad at him.
V has given a statement to the NBA.
I'm talking to somebody here. Oh, it's a salad.
The croutons sting.
How did you guys get that choreography? How many salads did you throw? Did you have dressing on it? I know it was dressed in real life.
No, I think it was dry, pretty dry. I think it was. But there were several tosses at him, He was also very good. That guy
Jack Topolian, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I really enjoyed him too. He didn't have anything else to throw. He could have thrown the metal container, but, he's a lawyer too, so, yeah.
Smart. I think one of the best scenes, and it really is straight from real life, is the interview that Shelly does with Barbara Walters.
Do you like your husband?
Do I like him or do I love him? I don't love him. I pity him. I feel sorry for him.
How did you prepare for this scene with Barbara, Jacki? And how did it play out within the filming?
Maybe I did see the interview. Yeah, I think I did. I think Gina sent it to me. Yeah. But I don't think it's just an impersonation. So I don't think I would have needed to have seen the interview to know it, because it was all there in the text. I'm a great believer in text, in the script.
Justine is often the voice of reason around Shelly. What do you think Shelly's relationship was with Justine, who is played by Harriet Sansom Harris in the show?
And here again, we must emphasize Justine was not a real person. She is an amalgamation of different friends that were probably in the real Shelly Sterling's life. I thought she was a great creation, that character. Totally believable and wonderfully played by Harriet. Harriet was just fantastic.
You tried to get me to confront all this years ago, and I pushed you away. I pushed and pushed and pushed.
I'm still here. Gandhi said, if I didn't laugh, I would have committed suicide. He also drank a pint of his urine every morning.
I always got the impression that Justine was a little in love with Shelley and was jealous, envious, like a lot of close friends are, about Shelley's situation. I thought all of our scenes were so well written. They were a dream to play, really, especially with Harriet.
Ed, obviously you had some of your first scenes in the show right off the top of filming are with Cleo playing Vistiviano, and you have to read the scenes where he says all the racist things that are caught on tape. And like really right at the beginning of filming, right? How did you and Cleo establish rapport and then get into your roles?
I mean, I don't think we did. It was the first day of filming we did that scene. And, that scene was difficult because it had to be letter perfect. It had to be the commas, the dots, the periods, as it was in the tape. So we had to shoot that way. I thought she was great in that scene. You can rehearse something, to use the word prepare. You can prepare something in the mirror in your bathroom 10,000 times. And when you get on the set and the other actor says the first line to you, suddenly it has to change. All that preparing. So I think it's just a matter of listening to the other actor, if you're working with one other actor, and go from there, wherever it takes you.
Jacki, in the show, obviously, Shelly Sterling and V are at odds, both personally and legally. But on set, Cleo, as an Australian, a fellow Aussie, she had quite an admiration for you walking onto the set, and I think it sounded like you guys had become pretty good friends throughout the filming of this. What was it like working with Cleo in that role throughout this project?
I'm so proud of Cleo. I think she's so accomplished, so talented. I love saying that we both came from the same country. That staggering beauty, as well as she's a really good actor. I loved her. And she stood her ground. She had such not gravitas exactly, but she was accomplished. She really seized her moment. There was nothing cowering about her. When we had our confrontation scene, she knocked it out of the park.
There used to be a theater expression, aesthetic weight. She had a lot of that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, at the end of this episode, Shelly and Donald have a scene together where they discuss selling the team.
The NBA has given us 10 days to find a buyer. We have no choice. This allows me to receive offers for the team.
I've never sold anything. And to be forced.
You can't go to the games anyway.
What did I say? What did I say? I was just talking about the way the world works.
What were you both thinking about for your characters in that moment when Shelly obviously has made the decision, we've got to sell the team or they're going to take it from us, and Donald is still holding on until the end?
I can't remember exactly when I had the conversation with Gina. I felt like I needed a scene where he talks to Shelly to justify himself somewhat, to say, I'm not really, without saying it, I'm not really a bad guy. It's the way the world works and it's perception. And there are rules that we have to follow to live in this world. And that's all I'm doing. It was sort of like that. And the idea that he changed his name and all that goes with that, I just think was his way of trying to say, I'm not a bad guy. If you want to swim with sharks, you better be a shark. And I think that was his take on a lot of things.
I thought the writing on that was brilliant. I thought the fact that it exists was absolutely necessary. It was a good note that you had.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought also, this is the part where one of my favorite lines, remember from My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
Yeah.
Where the woman says, the man may be the head, but the woman is the neck, and the neck can turn the head. To me,
yes.
That is Shelly Sterling in this scene. This is where Shelly has already made the business decision to sell the team, to say, well, if we don't sell, they're going to take it from us and we won't be able to control this. So now her job as the businesswoman in this equation is to convince her very proud husband that this is the best choice. Jacki, how did you play that side of Shelly Sterling?
Well, I think she had grit and strength and determination all the way through, even when she was very quiet and demure. But now necessity has made her show her strong core, as it were. And yeah, this is where she becomes top dog, really. This small, quietly spoken, ladylike woman suddenly outsmarts everyone. I thought it was very fitting and very satisfying. I'd like to also mention our directors, Kevin and Francesca.
Yeah.
I thought they were so good. I trusted both of them implicitly, and I thought, and the camera crew, I always get a crush on the camera crew, especially the DP.
Okay, before we wrap, we're going to do a quick lightning round. These are just short, pithy little answers meant to have a little fun with. Both of you guys are, all over the place, but you do have homes in Los Angeles. What is your favorite restaurant in Los Angeles?
Dante.
Mine used to be Drago on 26th and Wilshire, but now that's gone. So now it's probably Il Forno, which is a restaurant I've eaten in a long, long time.
I like Drago Central in downtown.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. What is a piece of advice that you give young actors?
Know your lines, hit your marks, and be punctual.
Right, yeah. Listen.
Like that. What's a topic you randomly know a lot about?
I watch Jeopardy every night. Do you do Jeopardy? We even keep score, my husband and I.
Really?
We figure it might be good for our elderly brains. Sometimes we do better than the contestants.
Do you answer in the form of a question?
Not always. Sometimes we shout out the answer without doing the form of a question.
Ed, what do you randomly know a lot about?
Probably movies. Yeah.
Plays and plays.
Plays. Yeah.
Who is another actor or comedian you would like to co-star with?
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Oh, there's so many for me.
Yeah, I've got 100.
Can I name a dead actor?
Well, Jacki just went right for it,
If there was probably someone like Frederick March, I would love to have worked with.
Okay, last one. If you could be a pro athlete in any sport, what would it be?
Sex.
Oh my gosh.
Of course I should say football, but the answer I wouldn't say football.
But you're a black belt.
I would probably say yes. Okay, I'll have to say Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
And I would say Scrabble.
Ed, Jackie, thank you so much for joining us on the Clip Podcast.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
This episode was hosted by Ramona Shelburne and produced by Megan Coyle. Our associate producer is Gus Navarro. Our line producer is Kat Sankey. Sound design by Ryan Ross Smith and original music by Hannes Brown. Preeti Varathan is our head of audio. Our head of development is Kati Fernandez. Our head of talent relations is Chantre Kamak. Our executive producers for 30 for 30 and ESPN Films are Marcia Cook, Brian Lockhart, Burke Magnus, and Heather Anderson. Our ESPN audio team includes Megan Judge and Devin McGowan. Special thanks to Rosalind Bibby at FX and Greg Bergman at ESPN LA Radio. As always, thank you for listening. Episodes of Let's Talk Clip drop every Tuesday until July 2nd.